We are back, y'all, with another review, y'all. We are back with season 1, episode 6. We call this The Legacy, y'all. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, y'all know it's Sunday. Y'all know what it is. PValley, baby. PValley, baby. Hey, PValley, baby. Alright, y'all. So, look, we're going to do this in sections, y'all, because it was a lot of character development in this episode. I know y'all hear me say this all the time that... Y'all, if y'all didn't know, this is my favorite show, y'all. Every Sunday, I am on it. Y'all, so let's go ahead and get into this review. Boom. Y'all, like I said, if y'all see me looking down at these notes, that's because I'm reading it was a lot of character development. So the first one, we're going to start off with the two main characters of the episode, in which was Mercedes and Autumn. So we kind of opened the episode like we knew last time that they were going to work together and they was going to, hit up all these telex banks. Which they did, but the only thing is, I don't know if they don't notice that y'all are going to all these banks, but y'all are using the same card, and eventually they're going to start looking at, okay, these girls, they do a number changing these wigs and coming in the same car, but then, I don't know if they don't notice as well that the husband ain't dead. So he noticed that these transfers are going different places, and this is why he didn't had a missing sign, which you're going to get into later on in this review. For Autumn. So I'm like, he went to the police officers last week saying that his wife is missing. Last week you guys saw that he was tracking the telex transfers. So eventually he's going to track Autumn down. Okay, so that was the first one. Let's see. We also see that Autumn has got her a nice little pink gun. Y'all, she got a little cute little gun ready because in case something happened on these little telex runs that she gonna need her some security. But let's see what else. We also see that Autumn and Mercedes meets up at the diner, you guys, and where you see them actually giving the money. So Autumn gives her the money, so she her card out of the impound, and she tells her that now she can start using other telex and everything so they can start splitting up. Only thing is, so then Autumn tells Mercedes that the most stupidest thing for her to do was to actually hide the money in the church fund where, people were actually gonna, they can look in that. That's why, if you never noticed that, the pastor knew that when he kept saying her generous donations and everything else. She told her that she needs to hide her money and somewhere nobody, will ever look. And then she also told her that she needs an investor to go inside of, her inside of the gym because, it'll kind of loosen the cost of them, getting caught up together. And so it won't look so suspicious about her getting all this money out of nowhere to open this gym. So that pretty much we also get the fact of, we also see that now Mercedes and Autumn are actually kind of becoming kind of real close. And it's not because of this whole money thing, it's because I've noticed that the first episode, it was a character development. They was kind of going a little slower and slower. But eventually, when Mercedes hit rock bottom, that's when Autumn and Mercedes kind of clicked. And we kind of see them kind of going back and forth with their whole losing the daughters. Mercedes still has her physical daughter, but we also see that Autumn, which her name is Haley. So I'm eventually stop calling her Autumn because we also figure out her name is Haley, which you found in the first episode. But I just thought that was probably a fake name that she gave, Andre. But it's really her first name. Her first name is Haley, and that her daughter name is actually Autumn, which is kind of, I don't think that should have been her scripter name. But if that's what she's gonna pick, that's what she's gonna pick, you guys. So we see that Autumn kind of stumbles into Terica's room, and it looks like that Mercedes has been decorating this room since it looks like Terica was a little girl, but now you see Terica's maybe like 14, 15, so it's been about a good 7 years that she's been decorating this room. And eventually she says that she painted it purple because Terica loved purple at the time, but now she doesn't like purple, now she likes green, so now she has to change that part of the room. She has a bed that looks like it was probably the same size as Terica back then, for when she was probably younger, but now she's kind of redo that. And also we kind of see that a lot of things is gonna have to happen. You see that Mercedes is really trying her hardest to get her baby back. And guys, while I'm on the instance of Mercedes, so I'll go ahead and add Mercedes into this little section. We see that Mercedes is having a hard time struggling getting Terica back. She pulls up at the tennis practice where Terica is getting her tennis practices. We see that she apologized because she wasn't able to, have Terica come over for the weekend. We also see that Terica is actually aware that Mercedes is her actual mom. I didn't know that in the beginning. I thought that maybe Terica was alluded that, maybe she had some type of sense that Mercedes was her mom, and she never really figured it out. I thought that probably would have been a better conclusion of her not knowing that Mercedes was her mother, and that, you know, this is the reason why Mercedes is always there, and this is the reason Mercedes always is kind of being like more of a motherly figure than all the other girls. But we do find out that's her actual mother. We also see that Terica, really, the only reason Terica wants to be on the actual dance team is because that's her only way of being close to Mercedes. And you also see that kind of Shell is the reason why she's not really that close. But you also see that Shell also is trying to have some, you know, closeness with Mercedes and Terica. But since Mercedes, it looks like Mercedes has been not that she's kind of been a little flaky inside of Terica's life, and now you see Shell is kind of taking over that motherly instinct, and you kind of see them kind of butting heads a little bit. And you also see that Shell actually kind of alluded that she killed Cortez. She said, I burned his motherfucking ass up, and that's why he's dead. I'm like, so I need to know how she ended up getting this kid, because I'm like, was it some type of Mercedes wasn't fit, CPS came, and the only living person that was still alive that was to Cortez was the wife, and that's how I'm like, we need to figure that out. But y'all, that's pretty much what happened with Mercedes this episode. You kind of just get Mercedes trying to get Terica back in any ways necessary. She's getting a lot of money from Autumn, so now she has $10,000 to put down on the actual gym. I think she needs to do something other than the gym, you guys. I feel like maybe she needs to take the advice and go to Memphis or Atlanta. I really feel like that needs to be, Mercedes can really have her own show. I know we just got into season 1, you guys, but if they do a spinoff, please have Mercedes do her own show, because Mercedes is she that bitch. She is really that bitch. She is really that bitch. Bad bitch. Bad bitch Sadie's. Oh yeah. Y'all, but that's it for that pretty much. We talk about Autumn a little bit. We see Autumn really didn't have a lot of outside character development. Usually I think that maybe she's having a lot of, you know, episode 1 through 5. But we also see that she ends up getting in contact with Andre. It looks like Autumn is actually leaving, you guys. At the end of the episode, you'll see Autumn is actually saying goodbye. And she said she would want to see the mountains one last time before she leaves. So I don't know, maybe she has a little scoop on if the husband is actually still alive and she's leaving town so she won't get caught up. Or she might just be leaving because she's hitting up more banks, and she's hit up all the ones in Chucalissa. So, guys, we'll see how that kind of ends up. Looks like we're going to get another episode until the 30th of this month, which is August. So, I'm going to have to do something else next Sunday, because it looks like my PValley review, I won't be able to review it. But, y'all, this is for Mercedes, Autumn, Shell, and Terica. But this is so much, so let's go hang into the next one. I don't understand why this Mississippi murder thing is gonna go on. I feel like this could have been, I really feel like Mississippi is gonna be murder's beard. I feel like Mississippi is gonna have to get, you know what I really feel? I feel like murder is gonna have to kill Derek, because I feel like Derek's gonna find out. Okay, let me go ahead and go into how I feel it. So basically, last week's episode, we seen that Mississippi had found out that, you know, Uncle Clifford and murder was a little thing, and now she's using him for clout, basically, so they can pretend like they're together, so that her scripting can, you know, she wants to be the top dog at the script club, guys. So since Mercedes is left, Mississippi wants to be the top dog at the Pynk, so she comes up with a plan to basically move Murder's manager out and kind of be the top dog. And that's kind of getting to her head, and you also see that that's getting on the scripter's nerves again this episode. She's getting on my nerves a little bit. Okay, we know you're the top girl. We know that you're getting on that pole, and you can be like, smack on that. You know, you see her on that pole. She be like, on that pole, smack on that pole, smack on that pole, smack on that pole, smack. But okay, guys, you ain't gotta do that all the time. Okay, all this. It's your girl, Mississippi cricket letter IPPI. I'm like, okay. Either she need to do an intro or something else. But everybody's a little worried about Mississippi because of everybody knows that she's getting her tail beat by Derek. And we seen this episode that she has a lot of bruises. Especially now he's not beating up on the little wrist no more. Like she has one on her wrist, but now she has one on her face. So he done punched her out. because I don't care how much makeup you put on it, baby. You can't hide a bruise like that. No, ma'am. I knew it. And I was like, So anyway, she meets up with Murder, and she comes up with this thing so they basically can be like a couple, and so that she is also all up on them. And I feel like that's going to be a situation that's going to have to go down between her, Murder, and Clifford, because in the episode they end up kissing. So I'm like, oh no, like y'all crossing the line at this point, because at this point it's like Uncle Clifford's gonna get the end of the stick, and I feel like they're gonna have to either break up, because eventually somebody's gonna catch on to this a lot. But we also see that Uncle Clifford and Mississippi end up having a talk about that. She tells Uncle Clifford that they are working together, and that don't get jealous. But I mean, like, how is he not gonna get jealous when you're kissing up all on his man? Like, I'm like, first of all, and you see Little Murder asks Mississippi, what about her man? What about the man that's beating up on you? So even Murder is understanding that you're getting your tail beat. But she's like, oh, he gonna have to be good with it and all that. So I'm like, Mississippi, you know what I need them to do in PValley? I need them to show what's going on in Mississippi's household. I don't know if they kind of not trying to show it because of domestic violence, but we can't keep seeing Mississippi come up here every week with these bruises and not seeing what the hell happened. Like, y'all wanted to show all of them getting her tail beat by her baby daddy. I'm like, why is Mississippi not getting the same thing? Like, we need to see what's really going on inside of Derek in Mississippi's household. And I don't know if maybe Derek is kind of having like a insecurity complex about himself where he has to beat Mississippi, but something is going on that we need to figure out, because this is really going on for way too long and we're not seeing what's going on inside this house. I don't know. Comment down below if y'all want to see what's going on inside of Mississippi and Derek home, because something ain't right. So she's like kind of real into herself. She think a lot of people are really blowing her head up. In the scene, you see she's on a strip club, and all she sees is the Instagram little smiley face, the dollar signs, and everything else. So that pretty much is it. She kind of tells Uncle Clifford that, oh well, Sundays is gonna be Little Murder night. It's going to be called Murder Night, and basically Murder comes to perform, and she does the scripting, and that since Mercedes is not there anymore, that she needs to be the headliner. And he tells her that maybe you need to go ahead and calm her down, little Miss Missy and whatever. But eventually he ends up saying that he taught her so well, and that's kind of the most with Mississippi. I'm a little worried about her. Like I said in the beginning of my first episode review, I think Mississippi is either gonna be Mississippi in that cast, because if y'all ever seen like go through the whole season, you see all of the scripters are wearing black for a reason. So somebody died, and my money is on Mississippi, and my money is on Uncle Clifford, Grandma. Those are the only two people I can see that die up in here, and I really feel like they're going for Mississippi. So at this point, I'm not really too worried about Mississippi. Like, I'm worried about her, but at the same point, I'm like, she need to get off her high horse. To me, I'm like, girl, like, clearly you do your thing on that pole, but all this extra, trying to be like the top girl on the gram and trying to be that stripper, honey, you're getting a little too big headed, and I can see why Keyshawn was never. Oh, if y'all didn't know, Keyshawn is her real name, not Mississippi. Keyshawn is kind of, I think it's her way of coping with her getting beat up at home so much by the boyfriend, is that she feels like she's getting so much love from the online people that it kind of contradicts the love that she gets from Derek. And y'all, that kind of much sums up the Mississippi, Clifford, and Derek, a little three-way thing they have going on, that little love triangle that is eventually going to be Little Murder. I think Little Murder is going to have some feelings for Mississippi, and then that's going to cause friction. Y'all, if that comes in here, y'all know where y'all heard it first. Y'all heard it from EJ, his own mouth. If that comes out to be flourishing in this season, y'all heard it first. Let's go ahead and get in somebody else. We get into this Loretta Devine, the mother of all mothers. The mother of all mothers. Here she go again playing somebody mama. But who else you gonna get to play somebody mama that good? Miss Loretta Devine. I'm like, she got money. First of all, Loretta money is long, baby. I know this ain't got nothing to do with PValley, honey, but Loretta Devine money is long. You ain't never telling her she ain't got no job. She either playing somebody mama, somebody auntie, somebody grandma, which she plays in PValley. Well, she playing some other role, but y'all, that's her best thing. So apparently, she is playing Uncle Clifford's grandmother in this actual episode, y'all, and she does so good. The thing is, Uncle Clifford's grandmother is blind, you guys. She's blind, and you also figure out that Uncle Clifford's grandmother is the reason that the Pynk is even open, because she is the reason. She owned the Pynk before it was the Pynk. It was called a juke joint, but then she kind of alluded that it was a brothel. So I'm like, ooh, so she a real pimp. She a real OG madam from back in the day, y'all. So I'm like, okay. So and you see at the end, she ends up looks like the reason that the Pynk isn't so much debt is because the grandma was signing some bad deals and Uncle Clifford was signing some bad deals, and this is why the Pynk is $50,000 in debt. Y'all, we gonna lose the Pynk. We gonna lose the Pynk. Y'all, we gonna lose the Pynk, y'all. I don't know what's gonna have to go on. They're gonna have to flip that. But, we kind of see that as kind of much. You see that loving relationship between him and his, Uncle Clifford and his grandmother. But that business thing is it's kind of holding like a real weight on them. Like they're having a lot of issues that are going on with that Pynk. And Uncle Clifford basically has gave up, you guys. He has said, well, that's the end. He said the Pynk is going to end up closing until the end of the episode. But I'm going to get into that in a minute. But we see that Uncle Clifford ends up letting Murder take him on a date, y'all. Uncle Clifford lets him take him on a date, and where's the date? To meet the grandma. So the grandma goes over, all of the memories and everything with Murder, and tell him about how she used to own the club, and that Murder is real into it, and he likes the grandmother and everything. Like I said, she's blind, but you can't really tell that she's blind because she still can understand. She knows where things are, so that's a real good thing as well. We also see that Murder ends up getting a text message to write on some music and going to the studio, but he ends up turning it down to stay there with Uncle Clifford. So he is kind of committing to this relationship, but eventually Little Murder ends up getting, he ends up getting asked about that by his manager, which he tells him that's why you see that Mississippi end up kissing Little Murder. And I'm like, wait a minute, I know you had to cover, but you had to be all up in between his little legs. I'm like, yeah, he was with me last night. I'm like, You really own it. And I can really see this is the reason I feel like Mississippi. I'm going back, y'all. I'm going back. So be on it. The reason I feel like Mississippi is getting beat is because Mississippi be doing these underlying things that all these other scripters do not do. Mississippi is, one, always online. Two, she's always too flirty with other men. And three, you got too many other men, and at this point, that Derek cannot handle this, and the only way that he can manage his feelings is to beat you. And I'm so sorry that this is what's going on, but I'm like, now you adding another man to the mix. I really feel like Mississippi's gonna be in the grave, y'all. I really feel like she's gonna be in the grave, and I'm so sorry to say this, but I can see where this is going, and I'm like, this is gonna have to be the death of the season. I'm so sorry, because I feel like at this point, Derek's not going to be able to handle it, and that is going to be the end of Mississippi. But we also see that Uncle Clifford meets up with the one and only Eloise, y'all. So he meets up with Eloise. I'm sorry, he goes by she in the show. So her and Mississippi go. Not her. See, I'm messing up, y'all. Her and Eloise meet up at the nail salon. So Uncle Clifford is getting ready for his date with Little Murder. He's getting his nails done, and see, I keep saying it. It's okay, y'all, so we have to run through it. So y'all can see the little bloopers in here. But we end up seeing her meet up. She's getting her nails done for Little Murder. And that Eloise is coming in. So the reason that he went is because he knows that Eloise was getting her nails done at 5 o'clock. So he tells her to come sit down, and he tells her. So eventually you find out that Eloise used to work at the club. Eloise used to be the top girl at the club, first of all. So she done went from a stripper to a housewife real quick. And then she's over there with the mayor. So I'm thinking that either she's married to the mayor or it's something in that realm. So, she said that she's thankful and everything, but he tells her to know he needs some tea to sip, because he said that she's one of the first bitches that he graduated, and she doesn't need to let that be the last. So you see that Eloise end up coming to the club as a little reunion, but she ends up spilling a lot of tea about what the mayor's doing. The mayor is really trying to change the whole Chuckalisa. He's trying to change the whole Chuckalisa into something else, into like a nice little meeting ground of different places. So he's trying to rip everything up and do it on the low. Y'all, Now, the only way that they can basically save the Pynk and basically the whole town is that they're going to have a city vote on whether or not the casino will be a good deal for Chuckalisa. And Uncle Clifford's kind of hesitant because he's like, nobody votes anymore. You see, they voted for Donald Trump, and this is why I'm like, they're gonna vote for anything else. But then she says, people on Saturday night like to see titties and ass shaking. So if you want to do a city vote, get them to do it up at the Pynk. He said that's the only way that you can convince them to do it. So we're gonna see how the city vote is gonna go, y'all. So that's pretty much I think I have for Clifford. Let me see. Do we have anything else for Clifford? Okay, let's go ahead and talk about Clifford and Patrice. So you're going to see them at the end of the episode. Clifford is going to be the one to bail Patricia out, which, if it wasn't for this reason, I feel like he should let her rot. He should have let her, kind of rot in prison. She was in there for extra 9 days until he put the club up for collateral. I'm like, no. Why would you put it up for collateral? Because, well, he said that the reason that he put it up for collateral is because that the club is going to be foreclosed in the next 14 days if they don't get, if they really don't get any, body to sign the petition or anything like that. So either way, it's a win-win. It's like a lose-lose for him anyway. So he ends up putting her bail up. He says that he needs a favor from her, that he needs her to pay. He's like, you want that church, how much are you willing to pay for it? So we're going to see how that's going to kind of go in the next episode. So y'all, let's stay posted for that one. But that's as far as I have for Uncle Clifford. So far, guys, that was Uncle Clifford, Eloise, Patrice, his grandmother, which we didn't get a name for her. I don't understand why she didn't get a name. Maybe she's only going to be like a one-time character that we're going to see maybe once so often. And Little Murder, because Little Murder, it was kind of quick and simple. So that's it for them. So y'all, the next one I'm going to get into is Gidget's Boo and Big L, y'all. So y'all don't look for me. I did not know what the band name was that was the second-hand man to Uncle Clifford, y'all. That used to be his name in all of my videos. But we found out his name is Big L. So Big L is meeting up with Gidget's Boo. So when you see this episode, y'all, please don't watch the Pynk with these kids, because they got a lot of nudity going on, and there's a lot of male nudity going on in here. So you don't need to be watching this with your children. This is a late night show. So we see that you see last time you kind of met Gidget's Boo in the last, I think, episode 2 or 3. I can't remember his name, so he's going to be Gidget's Boo for this episode. So we find out that he kind of sells those pills and everything, so he has a lot of naked girls in there getting the pills together while he's on the, he's sitting down, looks like he kind of getting high, and some girls doing, sexual things to him. He ends up opening the door. He walks over there butt naked, don't put no clothes on, has a gun, open the thing. You see Big L. Big L is coming there because, and he tells Big L not to tell Gidget he's in town. So it looks like he's not really Gidget's Boo. He don't really like Gidget like that. It's just a situationship, and he doesn't want her to know. He doesn't want Gidget to find out that he's nowhere in town, like he's even in town. Which we see that, she really doesn't anyway. But they're kind of coming together to see if maybe they can, Big L can hide some of his, whatever, the pills and stuff for him. But you see that he tried to do that one time up in the club, and it looks like Uncle Clifford said it ain't that type of club to be trying to hide, the pills and the drug game up in there. We ain't doing it up in here. That's what it is. And that's where Gidget Boo was like, have you asked Uncle Clifford, because she ain't really into all that. He tells him that she ain't got to worry about all that he does what he needs to do, and that he will hide it somewhere. And you see Gidget Boo was kind of asking like, where are you hiding it up? Because I need to know if you babysitting my product, I need to know where to come pick it up. He had said, don't worry about it, I got ways of hiding it. So he said, all right, Dad, well, the thing that we can do is I can give you a one-time shipment, and then I give you $5,000 if it goes good and we can keep it moving. So that was kind of pretty much them. I wish we could get a little bit more episodes, with Big L as well as Gidget's Boo, because they're really good too. I feel like we can get them more in the storyline. That's a lot of characters that we don't get to see in the Pynk that are really good characters that we can get more storyline from. But maybe we get them in season 2, maybe further along in the season. So y'all, that was so much for Gidget's Boo and Big L. So the next one I want to go ahead and get into is Andre. So Andre comes in, so we see Andre sees Mercedes and Autumn at the actual, Mercedes and Haley, because at this point that's her baby's name. So we see Autumn and Mercedes at the actual club, you guys. Well, at the diner, and he ends up paying for their actual meal. So this episode, we kind of see him trying to close the deal. See, that whole deal thing, it was a little racist. I think the little two brothers, they're a little racist because they kind of treat Corbin like, you know, second class citizen, and you know, tell Corbin to get them drinks and everything. Maybe it's because he's the youngest brother, but I really think it's because he's half black. But it comes to the deal when they need to actually sell two brothers want to sell to the actual town so they can get the full lump sum of money, but it looks like Corbin wants to lease it. He tried to convince the brothers. One of the brothers is kind of like, okay, but the next brother ended up getting the gun, and he has it pointed at Corbin, saying that he needs to sign it over, and he's sick of it, and Corbin's like, ain't no bullet in there. Really, Corbin should have been like, I'm not signing nothing, and let the brother had did it, because it wasn't no bullet in there, because the brother knew, like, at this point, you like, okay, am I going to shoot my brother and try to hide the body? No, he should have knew that. But he ended up signing the paper idiotically because he ended up having the gun pointed at Andre. And so he was like, I was going to save his life, sign the paper over. Brother ended up undoing the gun, seeing there wasn't no blood in there. But then Andre comes to his conclusion and says, well, maybe he can actually save, you know, one, the brothers' relationship, and two, try to save, you know, the Pynk as well by having the brothers lease the land so they can get money and they can kind of build their relationship a little better. That's what I'm alluding to, is basically he figured out that that'd be a better deal because of Corbin been saying this from the beginning, you know, keep the legacy going and just leasing the land to the casino. But he ends up calling the big time blue suit people on the FaceTime, and he's saying that basically he got them to lease it, not, you know, just own it all together, which the man tells him that he needs to get it done or that can be his commission in the end of the deal. So he ends up, that was his thing, he wanted that anyway, so he already had got it done. So you see Andre is getting the paperwork together, and his wife calls. You ever see Andre not really into his wife? He wants to get away from his wife. He really likes Haley, and he loves Chuckalisa, and he ends up saying that, oh, well, you know, he ended up getting the brothers not to lease it, and he said he don't know if, you know, the godfather, which is the mayor, is going to be too happy about it. His wife is not really supportive, so I can actually see why Andre was, you know, really quick to cheat on the wife, because he feels like the wife is not really supportive. He doesn't like Atlanta. He feels like Chuckalisa is his home, and that he wants to do everything in his power to make Chuckalisa, you know, better. You guys, but that pretty much was it with his wife. You know, he kind of gets an attitude, hangs up the phone. We also see that what else is going on with Andre? Let's see here. Okay, so the only thing left I can think of Andre is, like I said in the beginning, we see that Autumn is leaving. Autumn leaves because I think that she's going to go to the other Telic bank, so she ended up telling Andre bye, but she ends up calling him before. And, you know, that was kind of the end of their storyline. Do we have anybody else with Andre? I think that was Andre was kind of cut, you know, short and sweet. Only thing is, let's go ahead and talk about Mercedes and man. I'm gonna need to see a real good old sex scene from them, because I just feel like that would be old nasty hot scene or something going on with them, because you can tell it's like real sexual tension. But I think the reason, okay, at the end of the episode, like I said, you'll see that Maine ends up, you know, having, you remember he said he had the fat boy to wear his ankle monitor so he can go ahead and, you know, do his business. While he does that, he sees an actual missing person flyer, and it has Haley's name on it and her face, and so that's why I said it might be the reason that she's leaving. She might have been aware that, you know, she's being a missing person and that she's leaving, also trying to do the actual telebank somewhere else. But he ends up getting her the fake IDs. He ended up going up there to Mercedes' house. Of course, he can't go in because at that point he still had the ankle bracelet on. So he ends up giving her fake IDs, and you see that Mercedes kind of, you know, has sexual attention towards Maine, but doesn't really want to go into that because, you know, I guess they too close, and, you know, I guess either, I really feel like they're too alike, and them together is not gonna, I feel like the reason she doesn't want to do it is because Maine is a criminal, and I think she's trying to change her life over so that she can get her daughter Terica back. But I really feel like them two together are gonna be matching. But y'all, that was pretty much that. there's not really much else happening in this episode. Once again, we didn't see Diamond in this episode. I don't know if maybe at this episode he was actually filming PValley, but not PValley, but he was actually filming the Half and Half Night. So y'all know who Diamond is. Diamond is Benny off of the Half and Half Night. So maybe at this time he was filming both shows at the same time, and he had to end up leaving. But where's Diamond? We need Diamond this episode. So, I mean, next episode needs to do that. So, like I said, y'all, we're not going to get another episode of PValley until the 30th of this month, guys. So, looks like we're taking a week off. But, guys, don't worry, because I am going to be doing different videos for you for next week. So, I might do... Not going to tell y'all, so just go ahead and stay. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe on my page. Make sure you guys share this video with your friends. And also go watch the other PValley reviews. I have it linked up below. But, I have it linked up, in the suggestions. But guys, that was the end of PValley, y'all. It was another good episode. Like I said, it was PValley episode 1, season 1, Legacy. So guys, make sure y'all go ahead and watch that. Watch it first and then come and watch my video. But guys, thank you so much for watching my review, and I will see y'all next Sunday. Peace.